Okay, I thought we'd do a little bit of a troubleshoot on this RGDA, Rheem, or Rude, either one, furnace. You can kind of see up there, it says Rheem on it, and fancy hot surface ignition thingy. This thing was built in the late 80s. Fairly simple furnace, however, it did have hot surface ignition, which is one of the newer ways to do things, one of the first ones to have that. But I thought I'd do a little bit of a troubleshoot with this one because it's a little bit different than some others, and we'll start a little series here. Okay, I've got a meter set up in this thing, and the bottom cover should be on this thing because there's a door switch right here, and you're going to have that door switch closed. Now you can close it, you can tape it or clamp it or something like that if you want to. It's best to have the bottom door on though, because it tends to upset the flame. The flame actually, this pulls a negative pressure when this thing starts, so it actually could pull a flame out somewhat. So probably have that bottom part on. So the first thing we're going to do, we've got our meter here, and we've got a pretty convenient terminal board here. Now, if I want to find out there's voltage, this is the first thing you got to find out. Is there voltage even to this silly thing? So you can't go any farther unless there is. So let's go ahead. R is one of the terminals for low voltage, and C is the other. Okay, if you show voltage here, then you can continue on. If you do not see voltage here, then you're going to have to find out if you have 120 volt power. There should be a light switch type switch nearby the appliance. Make sure that's on, make sure your breaker's on, and then double check here. A breaker may show on. I would turn it off and then turn it back on again just to make sure. And it should be a dedicated breaker. A dedicated breaker simply means a breaker that is dedicated only to the furnace. Minimum of 15 amps. So, no power, start looking back through the power system, find out where the power has failed. This will almost certainly be 120 volt power. You could have a transformer problem like right here, and you'll have to check input and output on a transformer. Okay, let's say like this one, we had 24 volts right here. Okay. Now, do I have voltage through the thermostat? Is the thermostat actually telling the furnace to start? Okay, again, I can keep my probe on C. This is between C and R. Now, if I go to R, I get 26. Now, if I go to W, which is heat, and I show nothing at all, then I have a thermostat problem. Now, in this case, it did show nothing at all. I have eliminated the furnace as being the problem at this point. If I had power between C and R, as I do, but no power between C and W, then I have a problem in the thermostat. Now, to make sure, just as a double check, go between R and W. Now, I should read voltage there. That may seem a little odd. However, if the thermostat is open, that means there's no continuity through it, then I'm going to read 24 volts. In this case, 27, but whatever. So it is a thermostat problem. Okay. Okay, I've eliminated the thermostat, I've eliminated low voltage, but nothing still seems to want to happen. Nothing's going on. There's one little thing on this particular furnace, and there's a number of other furnaces that had the same thing. And it's called a draft spillage switch. Okay, there's the draft hood. The gases are coming out. Inside here, there's a heat exchanger tubes, and they're supposed to go straight up here and come out of the vent pipe here. So, if they spill, out of here. That means the vent's plugged. And there's a switch in here, and it's just a little heat-operated switch to shut it off. And I'm going to show you where it's at. Now, they're not all in the same place, but on this Rheem, they all are. Now, here we have a close-up of the draft hood. And right here is this little switch. Now, I've got it kicked off. You can reach around behind the silly thing, and there's a button on it. You heard that little click. Well, let's look down here and see what's happening. Hot surface igniter's warmed up. Let's see what happens now. Okay, it's hard to see that flame down there. You see a little blue flame? There we go, and the burner came off. So in this case, what had happened is you'd had draft spilling out of this draft hood, and it shut it off. So you need to find out if there's any problems in your venting or something like that. Okay, once that's lit off after that switch was reset, remember, if a switch like that is reset, it means that there's a problem. Okay, so run your hand across here and then run it down here. You can also take a match or a lighter and go anywhere around here. The flame should always draw in. If it's hot here or it pulls out, then you got a venting problem. So you need to find out what the venting problem was. Okay, we're going to continue on with troubleshoot of no heat in the next one, and it's going to be on the ignition control and problems with the ignition control.